Welcome back to Backyard Science. This week we're talking about botany, and today is all about plant adaptations. Adaptations we learned a little bit about last week with ornithology, but just as a refresher, adaptations are characteristics that allow an organism to survive in their environment. You can find plants everywhere on this planet, from the desert to the rainforest to the bottom of the ocean. And they're able to be in all those different places because they adapt to their specific environments. So what do plants need to survive? Well, they need four main things. They're going to need air, they're going to need water, they're going to need soil with nutrients, and they're going to need sunlight. Meeting those needs is the tricky part. There are many obstacles plants need to overcome if they want to survive. First, they have competition with other plants. Also, animals do eat them. They also need access to light and water, and that can be tricky sometimes. So, these plants need to all adapt to meet those needs and overcome those obstacles. Here are some types of adaptations you may see. There are defense adaptations, so protection from predators. There are reproduction adaptations, so how they disperse their seeds. Nikki talked to you a little bit about seed dispersal, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. Access to sunlight and water and nutrients. There can be adaptations so they can get more water, more nutrients, more sunlight. So let's look at a few examples from around the world. The desert is an environment that's very different than what we have here at home. The air is very dry, it's hot and sunny, and the soil is sandy and it's rocky. So plants have to adapt to that type of environment. Can you think of any plants that might be able to live there? The cactus is a plant that you would find there, and they have quite a few adaptations that help them survive. The first thing you may notice with a cactus is they are covered in sharp spines, and this is to help them avoid being eaten by predators. So what would this adaptation be called? It's a defense adaptation. They also have many other adaptations. They have long roots that help them find water, and they store that water in very fat stems so they can store as much water as possible during the dry times. They also don't have leaves, and this is because leaves lose water. So all of these adaptations help them survive and get enough water and nutrients. Another interesting plant to look at when it comes to plant adaptations is the Venus flytrap. These plants are normally found in sandy bog areas along the coasts, and the soil that they grow in is very acidic and does not contain a lot of nutrients. And since plants need these nutrients to survive, Venus flytraps have been able to adapt to get nutrients elsewhere. They get them from insects. So these plants are carnivores and they eat insects, and that's how they get the nitrogen they need to survive. Can you guess what type of adaptation this is? Now let's look at a few adaptations that you might see in your neighborhood. Here we have a rosebush. Is there anything you notice first when looking at it? If you've ever held a rose, you probably know to be careful because they have thorns. What type of adaptation could this be? This is another defense adaptation. This helps them avoid being eaten by predators and being plucked by humans because we know that we could get hurt. You might also see a maple tree in your neighborhood. Maple trees have a very specific adaptation for their seed dispersal. As you can see, maple trees produce seeds in what are called seed pods that are attached to these wing-like structures, and when they fall off the tree, wind can catch them and they are able to travel long distances, kind of like a helicopter blade, and this helps the tree be able to spread its seed far and wide. This adaptation helps the tree have a better chance of survival throughout a large amount of space. This is a reproduction adaptation. Now I'm going to show you how you can make your own maple tree seed pod helicopter. For this activity, you will need a piece of paper, some tape, a pencil, and a toothpick. You will also need a pair of scissors at the end, so make sure you have an adult present.